Remember Spirelli string art from years and years ago? I love to be reminded of older techniques and then update them with today's products to create beautiful cards. Hello and welcome to Karen's Creative Cards on YouTube. I am Karen Hashik and I just took a class from Julie McGuffee and she showed us how to create lovely embellishments with her dies and string or thread. I used many of Julie's dies and some of my own to make this flower card. And then I had more fun making a bunch of other cards with other dies in my stash. So this is the first one that I made. These Spirelli circles reminded me of flowers. So I just made a slimline card with stems and leaves in the background and made 4 embellishments that kind of look like flowers for that. Remember the old Nestabilities dies, scallop Nestabilities from Spellbinders? I pulled them out and I easily created this Christmas card when I made a pretty Spirelli wreath. So that was a scalloped die both on the inside and the outside, and then I just did some easy string art on there and made a pretty wreath for that one. I tried various kinds of threads. What I would say my favorite was to use would be like the metallic threads. I have some really beautiful ones from Diamont. All the links to all the products that I'm showing and the blog posts that I do with the various cards will be in my description box. Julie's kit, whether it's just the dies or else she had a kit for the class that included a bunch of paper and thread, there'll be a link to that as well. It's very reasonably priced. I tried some like an oval scalloped one, and I made that one. So I tried some thicker threads too. I tried this baker's twine, and then I tried some of the cords that I have, and I made this one with a thicker silver thread and also with that baker's twine, and these were kind of my samples. So what I did is I made a note of how many scallops in between each one so I'll remember. Here's one I did with a much thicker thread, and it's pretty, but again I decided I think I like the thinner ones better. This was with that brass cord that I showed you. This is another just practice one. So what I did was I tried a few of them and I just made a note. This one here, there is 6 scallops between this one and this one, and I'm going to show you on that. You can go directly down the center and do this, or you can go from one on the side to another one on the side if you want a bigger hole in the middle. So there's various ways to do this. Here's another sample I did just with regular thread, and again I just made a note that in this one I did that from the right across the center in the pink, and in the purple, the second one, I did 7 spaces in between. So I'll show you that. And I think if you want to try this, you know, just pull out some of your scallop shapes or your dies and just play. Pull out some thread, whether it be metallic or regular or even baker's twine, and just give it a try. I'm going to show you how easy that is to do. Here's another one that I did. I had this idea that I would do it on acetate, and I did use that brass cord on that one, and I just thought it was really cool just to see it kind of floating on there. So that was one that I did with a circle scallop, and it has acetate, and it's just floating on a strip of acetate. So that was kind of a fun one. You can even cut a shape with your pinking or Fisker's decorative scissors, provided the pattern is an even one. So I used pinking scissors on this one, and you can see that the pattern is even, all the spaces are the same. Now I kept my decal scissors from Fisker's. That wouldn't really work because it has different shapes. It's not the same all the way down, and this time I did a square. So you can see you could do a square or a rectangle or the circles or the ovals. So lots of different ways to do this. This is one of my favorites of the cards that I made. I used the positive and negative colors, the blue and the copper. So this has copper on blue and then blue on copper. And I just love how that one turned out. The more detailed dies, I guess you could say, were these Greetery pinwheel dies. So as you can see, they're like pointy, not scallops, but you know, points, and there's many of them. But I was able to get a really pretty pattern with those. But it was just a bit. You really have to concentrate, I would just say, when doing this one. But years ago, the Spirelli dies and punches that they had all had those points all the way around a circle. And I know I had a few of those, but I don't anymore. So take a look at your stash, either your scallops or your pointy shapes of some kind, or even your decorative scissors will make really cool cards like that one. So I'm going to make a Spirelli oval and a star. This star is one of the dies, and it's more the traditional Spirelli look from Julie's kit. So I'm going to make a layered, the first one's going to be oval, and the second one's going to be the star. And I'm going to do it in a couple different colors, and that's the plan, and we'll see how it works. So this was the Nestabilities oval I used to cut out this green. The first step is to simply attach this thread to the back, and I've been using these mounting squares from Thermacraft. Julie used them in her videos, and they just work really well to attach these. But you know, anytime a kind of piece of glue or something, and if I attach it with that and then I remove the upper sticky part too, then when I come back around I can use that to attach it again. So on this one I want to look like this. So, and this was my practice one. So I'm going to go right from one of the top ones here right to one of the bottom ones. So as long as you're starting in the center and going straight across, more or less. I mean, it isn't exactly straight, as you can see, but I'm just going to go straight across, and then I'm going to keep the thread taut, but not really tight, because if I did it too tight, of course, this would bend. And I'm just using a gold thread, again from DMC, the Diamont metallic thread. And there's a link to where I found it on Amazon. I made a mistake. I don't know how I did that, but I did. Well, and as you can see, you can simply start. I was paying attention. You're just going to go to the from the one you started at to the next one, to the right on the top and to the bottom on. Okay, so go straight across, and then on the top you're going to start to the one next to it and go to the one next to it on the bottom on the left. And I think I wanted it to be right across the center to create the first pattern. And it should work out evenly as it did there. So now I just stuck it on the back there just to hold it down. And now we could stop there, but I'm going to add a layer with a circle in the center. So I'm going to weave from one of the ones on the top here. And then I had made a note on this one that I liked the look. So on the second layer, I want to skip 7 scallops. So we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that is where I want that one to be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. And then once again, I'm going to just go to the right of the top one and to the left of the bottom one. And now we're crossing over threads that have already been used. So you do have to pay attention. So I'm going to stop talking. Now I have a little extra thread there. You can see that I have a tear in there. I think what I'll do is fix that quick and come back. Okay, the reason I had to stop is because the thread had a part of it was kind of yucky like that, and that was going to show. So I cut it off and just taped it down in the back and started again, and then this is the result that I wanted to have. So again, I went across the middle the first time and I formed that somewhat of a star there, and then on the second ones I skipped, what was it, you end up with 3 threads in between, and there's 7 in between. So, and again, just play, you know, it doesn't have to be exact. If you start up here and you go down here, and then you know the next one's going to be from there to there, there to there, and so you're just going to the right on the top and to the left on the bottom one, and play around, and you can use 2 different colors if you want. So that's what I'm going to try on this one. Now this is the more traditional pokey spikes, and it's one of the dies from Julie's kit. So I'm going to try to create something like this. So when I did a practice one, I did gold and purple there, and I made a note that the first one I skipped 8, and then the second one I skipped 11. So I'm going to try that. So I just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then just to make sure, I'll do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So now on the next one, I'm going to go to the right of that and to the left down there. And so we're going to continue all the way around to the right and to the left, and then form a pattern. And as you can see, it's not hard to do. The key is to, of course, concentrate, which means that once again I'm going to be quiet, because we are going to end up with several threads. As you can see, it's already forming a pretty pattern, and here there's just single threads, but then as you get around, you're going to have 2 in each one. Now you can play with these. I saw some pretty cards that were made with one that just kind of looked like that. So you could stop maybe after, you know, getting 1 in each, or you can keep going. So there is 2 in this one here, so I know I need to go there. And I want an even pattern all around. So if you can see, I now have a perfect circle and an even pattern all around. And I'm going to cut it off, stick it down to that sticky tab in there. I think just to be on the safe side, I'm going to tape that down with some regular tape. I'm just using some Scotch tape that I have ready here too, in addition to the tabs. And now the plan is to start with the metallic green. And in this one, I am going to try to go every 11th point. So I will end up with something that is doesn't have quite as big a circle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, I think. But we will count that again. Okay, this isn't sticking on the back. Let's use regular tape, seems to be working better to hold it down. All right, I'm gonna guess it's there, but let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So now I am going again, I'm going to the right at the top and to the left of the one I just did at the bottom. Keeping it taut. But not too tight to bend the star, which is what we'll end up with, is somewhat a pretty star. And now I am concentrating to keep that pattern going. Now we have, we're starting to double up on the green on the top. You can see that that is not a perfect circle in the center like this one is, so I must have made a mistake earlier, and that's no problem. Basically, we're just going to unweave it and figure out where the mistake was. Let me do that. I'll be right back. So it's difficult to do on the camera because I had to hold it over here, but what I did in real life is take my glasses off and get it right up to my face, because I needed to see that there are 3 strings in each one of those pokies. So there is a green and then 2 golds, and to be able to make that pattern, again, it's all it is going from one to another and then paying attention to, we have the next one and you go to the next one to the left. It's not at all hard to do, but I kind of need it right up to my face and which I can't do on camera. So I have now completed it. And as you can see, we have a really pretty pattern of the green and the gold on a pokey Spirelli shape. And I'm going to layer the 2 of them together. I want the top one to be mounted a little bit, so I'm just going to use some mounting tape on that. And then I'm going to make a pretty card with that. I have my Adriana pop-up easel die set from Poppy Stamps. And because it had this beautiful oval, I thought that would be pretty to put this in. This die set creates an easel with these pretty dies, and I have cut all of them out in the green and the off-white or beige cardstock, and then folded it, and now I'm just going to layer this top piece with a border on the easel piece, and it's going to stand up like that. Let's put this piece on. I popped the top. Do we want to pop the next layer too? I think so. Use some more mounting tape, which is not as high as some of the pop dots I have. In fact, the pop dots I'm going to use on the bottom part. So I want to pop it a little bit, not a lot, I guess. And then I have another piece from that die set, and I've put a hello in there from Spellbinders. And this one I wanted higher, so I used some pretty tall pop dots on that part. And I'm going to put it here, which will hold my easel up. So you can see that we now have a beautiful easel card with a string art oval and star there. I think looking at that, I'll put a gem inside there before I take a picture of the card and send it on its way. It lays beautifully to mail and then stands up for the recipient to get it with that fun Spirelli thread art. I had great fun playing with this older technique and making these cards with dies that are available today to purchase. I hope you'll give this fun technique a try and then send some of your handmade cards out into this world to spread some joy.